Okay, recording's going. So there we go.
1, 2, 3.
One,
Check.
two, three.
Just
Yep.
for final check.
Yep.
Butts.
All right.
So we are recording. Hi, gentlemen. How you doing?
I want to play more Metroid Prime 4, but I'm going to be more infuriated with every moment.
How's it
because
so
they
far?
Okay, I found a couple of more pet peeves for myself.
Uh-huh.
One of which is an actual gameplay mechanic that, I'll be honest, makes it royally fucking annoying.
Is it that bad? What is it?
Predictive aiming.
Predictive aiming? So it was like an aim assist?
It's an aim assist that tries to move so that you're aiming to where the enemy may be going.
Is there no way to turn that off?
No.
Oh, okay. That does sound kind of annoying.
Oh, trust me, it's like I shot at that thing dead center. Why did and it's like my hands are both of my thumbs are off the thumbsticks,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like why did the cursor move that direction? And so I actually during a fight
Uh-huh.
checked this out, and that's when I found out that was what was happening. It's like, who thought this was a good idea?
Oh, that's
And
no
now
good.
it's like, okay, I may have to, if I'm going to continue playing, this may turn into one of those situations like I may have to borrow a Switch too. Just for the mouse aiming.
Does it not have the Switch controller aiming like they were it uses the Joy Cons? Is that not a thing anymore?
I'm using a joypad. I'm using one of the Pro controllers,
Uh-huh.
and because technically you can, but given the factor that like I don't want to I'd rather just set down one controller than two. It's one of those situations of like, I feel like it may also be enabled even on the Joy-Con aiming, because of the fact of like how no offense, how inaccurate the Switch One Joy-Con gyros kind of were.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I was using the Pro controller. It's because the factor it's like it was very solid for Metroid Prime Remastered.
Are you sure it's not a stick drift?
It's
No.
not.
Okay. Because it also sounds like stick
not.
drift. It sounds like something I've experienced, but in stick drift form.
Eddie, stick drift, it goes in one direction. This thing was going in directions that aren't stick drift.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You finished Borderlands 4?
No, I installed it, played one session, and haven't gone back to it since.
Okay.
Just haven't had time. Got too many other things going on.
Okay.
I mean, as long as you can like re-download it, really easy.
Yeah. Okay, we're recording again. I'll just do some editing to make it, fluffy.
So, kind of getting back to it, it's doing stuff that stick drift doesn't do. Stick drift usually just goes in the last direction you push, whereas this is like doing quarter or half circles of motion, and I'm like, why?
It's so weird. And assuming you googled it and stuff. And
I haven't fully Googled it, but it's like stuff that I've actually experienced in game in a fight.
Okay.
And it's like this enemy is about to move, and it's like, okay, so, and then I notice my aim without ever touching the aim, the right joystick. It will try and aim to where the enemy is moving to, but then they dead stop, and then it just wildly swings around it instead of centering. And I'm like, can we just bring back the Prime Remastered control scheme? I feel like there's some problems here.
Yeah, that does sound a little weird.
Other things I've encountered are much more of like me being a little pissy because of like Metroid lore. Because I finally got to where I can get the motorcycle.
Uh-huh.
And the first thing is Samus actually gets on the bike, puts everything together. tries to start up and it shuts down, and then the next thing pops up is a incompatible technology. Please upgrade to the appropriate suit. And I'm like, how the do you make technology more powerful than Chozo tech?
That does sound really picky.
Just to give you a heads up, like how it's kind of explained in universe.
Mm-hmm.
Chozo are basically a precursor race.
Mm-hmm.
They actively made technology that worked in harmony with nature. It's actually kind of implied that a lot of their tech is kind of biomechanical in nature
Uh-huh.
in order to get the best of both worlds. It's also how their tech can be super adaptive.
Explains why she can turn into a ball.
Yeah, that's one part of it. The second part of it is that supposedly whenever you lose a component, aka the whole thing of Samus drops a hammer on her foot, loses half of her power-ups, joke, is that she will pick up power-ups either from Chozo or take technology and adapt it to work with the suit automatically.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this one just comes across as, oh no, we've made more powerful technology than the Chozo, and yet there's this kind of weird hint that we went from the mechanical era to the psychic era, uh, uh, and it's like these guys aren't Chozo. These guys cannot be more powerful than the Chozo. Who wrote this? Oh, hey, this thing. This one's going to be interesting. The trailer, because I think it was an early access.
It had
last
a
year?
demo like last year or early this year. I mean, depending on when we upload this, it could technically be last year.
This could
Yeah.
this could be our follow up to Sandland, because this looks like another, like, hey, let's build a tank and go cause chaos.
Well, it is entirely about building a tank and like customizing it and putting other things on it and trying to survive.
It's also a huge rogue-like light aspects to it too.
Sounds fantastic.
Anyway,
But no, that's my current gripes is the fact that it's like I'm starting to see where there's some interesting aspects like the art direction.
Mm-hmm.
I will definitely say this: there feels like somebody took inspire from Geiger for some of the architecture I've been going through. Bet your board.
I don't know enough about Geiger to ooh and ah that very much.
You played through a game where he worked on, technically.
well, technically.
H.R. Geiger, the man behind the Alien architecture.
Yeah, yeah,
Alien?
yeah. I'm just like, yeah, I see what you mean when you put it that way. I guess I'll have to see for myself what that means in terms of a Metroid game.
Well, in this case, let's stop because like, should we get to the meat and potatoes?
Yeah, yeah. You're gonna have
Yeah,
to once you finish the actual game, you'll have to tell us how it actually all plays out.
Yeah. So let's continue.
All right. So the meat and potatoes of today, then. So we're having a lot of game awards gameplay, because we're gonna kind of talk about stuff that's kind of stemmed from the Game
Well,
Awards.
the idea is we're talking about the many controversies of the Game Awards 2025. Because it's surprising how many things came out of people complaining about various things. And sometimes it is an interesting question.
All right, so
Such as
you got a laundry list you're gonna go through, or how are we gonna
yeah, I
approach
do
this?
have a laundry list.
All right.
So we're going to start with some of the biggest one probably is the Expedition 33. Just simply becoming the most winningest game at the Game Awards,
Mm-hmm.
beating out Baldur's Gate 3.
So what's the story there?
Well, it's the idea of just simply the fact that it's ended up sweeping so many, you know, categories, and it's not like they completely had, no opposition. Because let's face it, if you look at most of their standard competitors in most of these things,
Mm-hmm.
let's just go there and check one of the things, because I did bring up the Game Awards list just to make sure. Like, let's see, average wise, they were usually pit against Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yote, Hades 2, and Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Yeah. And then the that Deliverance game, I forget, the Kingdom Come Deliverance. Is that what it is? Did I get the name right?
Yeah.
Occasionally. I would
Yeah.
say these four are the usual suspects. I mean, there are some other ones, such as like Silent Hill F got in, or Kingdom Comes Deliverance 2. Technically, best game direction ended up having Split Fiction, but it's the fact that, and in some ways, like one of the games that technically uh, Expedition 33 managed to win the category of was because somebody bowed out. The best debut indie game award. Technically, Megabonk was supposed to be a part of that, but he pulled out.
So would he have won that if he hadn't pulled out?
I think there would have been a better chance that it might have ended up splitting the vote a bit. It might have gone to somebody else. It might have gone to Expedition 33 still, but I think it would have offered a bit more competition.
All right. So what's the root of the controversy here then?
Just simply the fact that it's well, as a lot of people seem to have questions of, such as myself. I mean, I haven't played Expedition 33. I don't know how good the game is. I haven't watched a let's play of it or a streamer play through it. So I don't know the quality of the game.
It just sounds like the best game won, and it was just a really good game. Like that's all it sounds like to me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I think some people, have seen some interesting takes on the entire thing, such as like, one of the big criticisms here is like, okay, here's a meme take. Sandfall Interactive, the people behind Expedition 33, was able to build Expedition 33 in a cave with a box of scraps,
Mm-hmm.
with the idea being like, oh, how come you couldn't do an Expedition 33 with even more money for every other AAA release?
I mean, there's
That
also
might
that
This
cause.
one,
there was that meme that
Yeah.
like Ubisoft being sad that they let all these people go that end up making like a grand ass game. So I mean, that's one different
I
look
mean,
at perspective of that.
Yeah.
uh, oh, here's one that it's kind of more of a joke aspect of it,
Hmm.
is that the game that won the most awards was a single player turn-based RPG.
Mm-hmm.
The most non-mainstream game types ever. It wasn't an action game. It wasn't a gotcha game. It wasn't the big multiplayer. It was a single player JRPG indie game that won most of the awards. Because like I remember hearing people going like, "Oh, they should remove Expedition 33 and put Arc Raiders as one of the contenders." It's like
Oh, that's so silly. That's such a silly.
to
So
Uh,
me it came across as like people just being
First of all, I'm pretty
pissant.
sure Arc Raiders was amongst like the nominees, at least initially,
yeah, and I'm not even saying that as in like our graders shouldn't have been nominated, but
because I mean it did get
yeah,
nominations. So
the suggestion to remove a game to put in our creators is silly. Like, I mean, yeah, that's silly.
well, one of the other things I saw, which I think is a technicality, is a question of how we define indie games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Because as
something.
stated,
Yeah.
Expedition 33, the studio itself technically only has like what, less than 40 people.
Mm-hmm.
32, 32
Like in the
or
30s.
33 people.
Yeah, like 30 in the 30s.
Yeah,
I think we
it's
talked
in the
about this
30s.
before. Yeah.
I know it's a rather relatively small team
Mhm.
compared to like any AAA studio or like, you know. But the thing was, is like they used a lot of like outsourcing. They had a publisher, so it is a bit of a question of like where does the line draw of like what is a independent studio versus uh, a corporate studio in this
Right.
sense.
Yeah, that's an excellent like conversation to be had. I mean, except that
Because in some ways that comes back to like it's winning of like the best indie game.
yeah. Uh, I think the only quote unquote problem with that conversation is that ultimately it's up to the whatever awards show. Like they're the ones putting on the show. I guess in the end they get to decide what's indie, which
Oh,
like
right.
at that point it's dealer's choice. But
Remember, cast your Steam votes.
yeah,
Yes. I mean, I feel that's one of the things I do actually felt about like the Steam Awards is that they actually had diversified a lot of the contenders over like what's available, what is considered, important, the various types of things. So it wasn't just simply a Expedition 33 sweep, because some things obviously Expedition 33 didn't get nominated for, didn't get qualified for, things like that.
right, and that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
So I think some of it you can put it down to sour grapes of like Expedition 33 beating out Baldur's Gate 3, which I think you really enjoyed Baldur's Gate 3.
yeah, it was really good. Yeah.
So I think you can at least understand some people being a bit sour about it.
I wouldn't say I understand it. I guess. Well, I guess I understand conceptually. Do I understand it empathetically? No, but I guess I understand it conceptually. And maybe I'll bring that point around later. It's a later thing.
Once you
We'll
actually
bring it
get
up.
to play and compare and contrast, like in your own mind.
No, no. I think with something else I know you're going to bring up later. There's a point I want to make tied to that later too. But yeah, suffice to say is that I guess I get it conceptually, but not empathetically.
Mm-hmm. Well, understanding it doesn't necessarily mean that you agree with it.
Yeah, I suppose that's another way to probably say it. It doesn't. I guess in this case, I don't understand. It would bother me in no way that a game did better than even if Baldur's Gate was my favorite game of all time. Why should I care that another game did better than it at the Game Awards? Why? It doesn't change my gameplay experience. It doesn't make what experience I had with Baldur's Gate 3 any more or less.
Baldur's Gate 3 less of a game.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't change my taste. It doesn't. It isn't like someone's gonna walk and go.
It doesn't mean that Baldur's Gate 3 is no longer going to be sold.
Or that someone's go, oh, your favorite game is only the second most winningest game at the Game Awards. That's
I
not.
can't be friends with you anymore.
Yeah, like that is not a thing. Like, and if that was a thing, if someone walked in the door and told me that, like that would be more on them than me. Like, so yeah, that's why like I can't. I would be unmoved. Like, congratulations to if I even hated the other game, congratulations. All right, you're the most winningest game. I'm still going to be over here playing my favorite game.
Yeah,
that's how I feel about it.
Okay, well, let's go to the next topic. Because you said that this is technically not part of the Game Awards, but considering that the Larian Studio did have a trailer for their new Divinity game in their Divinity line,
which we just saw here,
RPG series. Yeah, a lot of it came out recently about them. Of an interview of them talking about their use of AI in development. And I did check the interview take. They literally state, we use it for faster, like, I'm trying to remember the processes, but they like whiteboarding and other such things, just simply to, start up the creative juices earlier. But it's never used as, final draft stuff or sort of stuff. In other words, it's never going to be in the actual game at the end. It's just simply used there. And as stated, like, of course, I'm leading with the explanation and not the criticism, which is effective, obviously.
The actual story
using
first.
AI in games, period. Which seem to be what most people seem to have. It's like any use of AI, regardless of where it is used or how it is used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there is a
As
lot of
soon
layers
as
to
AI
this.
is used, the entire game is tainted.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this. Yeah, I think was it even on stream we talked about it? I think it was. Um, and I
Uh,
had and I
I think some
hadn't.
of it was before stream.
Okay, I couldn't even remember, but I hadn't. Other than a headline, I hadn't heard the story before. But lo and behold, one of the podcasts I listened to, their update today was
Brought it
about
up.
this. So
Okay.
I am, as of today, I am now informed. So
Okay.
to kind of piggyback on what you're saying, what how this came out is that Jason Schreier from Bloomberg reported on this in some interview they had with Valerian's, like, I think, like, head person, CEO.
Yeah.
And he was the one who was talking about the creative process. I think what partially started the controversy is that Schreiber, in his business speak, in his article, mentioned their use of AI and may have over editorialized. Maybe that might be more opinion
I
based.
mean, he is a journalist, and let's
Yeah.
face it, if you bury the lead by stating their Ilarion and their use of AI in their video games, sort of doesn't tell you much other
Right.
than that.
Yeah. So reading the article for at face value might get someone to think, oh, they're using AI in the way
Well, I would
anyone.
presume, like, just simply the titles or something like that. But
Right, like in a way people would probably be wary of, right? And I think what I want, the headline that I had read beforehand was probably Larry's response to all that, where they're like, no, we're not. It's not in the final product. It's just in our in our ideation process, I guess, for lack of a better term,
Yeah.
right? But I think
and
it's
technically, it's not even replacing their concept artists. There,
yeah,
in fact, it's stated in the same interview, they are looking to hire more.
yeah, and they use it in their, like, email presentations and blah blah blah, right? And like I said, they're still
Well,
using
it's
AI.
meant for faster iteration, essentially, to try to, like,
Yeah.
I
just
think they're
simply
using
through,
it
like,
mostly as a proof of
brainstorming,
concept.
essentially.
Yeah.
It's not really meant to be a finished product. It's not even meant to be part of the process. It is just meant to be sort of like a side thing to conceptualize certain things, or to, like, create a faster, image, just simply to start on things or try to experiment with things.
Although that's where I think the CEO starts to put his foot in his mouth, because at that point, I think it's where he starts mentioning that the ideal is that it should be improving their production, like efficiency, and that so far it doesn't seem like it is, and that also that there are people, like, not that. I forget if he even admits it, or if that's when people started, like, popping off online, that maybe people in the studio aren't too thrilled about his push of the AI.
Well, I think there is some of that is absolutely true, because supposedly, well, actually, definitively, a ex-Larian artist who did work for Larian, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what his exact tenure was,
Mm-hmm.
whether it was like 10 years, 20 years, or just simply, the development of Baldur's Gate 3, for all I know, has obviously left the company and also is against AI.
Right.
I don't know if there's a relation, because technically, it would probably have not have been being used during the creation of Baldur's Gate 3, because even as Baldur's Gate 3 was releasing finalization status, only the, let's face it, generative AI imaging really only got good, like, last year.
Yeah.
At
Its
the
prominence has
last
only
parts of
started.
it.
Yeah.
And even then, it can still be pretty poor if you're not don't have enough of an understanding of how to make it work for you. But anyway, I think it's a that but then again, it's also might be just simply people utilizing it as to get to my next point, as the controversies. The fact that Larian is not making Baldur's Gate 3 4 more years.
Oh, yeah, because I think that was also part of what I forget if it was part of his response or even part of the interview, but he was like, well, we were thinking of maybe making another Dungeons and Dragons game, but our team didn't want to do that. So we decided to make another Divinity because everyone wanted to do that. And it made everyone's morale boost when we were going to not do a Dungeons and Dragons game.
Well,
Which,
I think it is a good question because let's face it, I don't know how long they've been developing the Baldur's Gate 3 thing because that's half the reason why I was sort of confused as why was a big deal when it released is
It,
because I thought it had already released like 2 or 3 years beforehand
it took him 6 years in
when that
total.
was in early access.
Yeah, it took him 6 years in total, I believe, and I think like 2 or 3 years of
That's a
that was
long
early
development
access.
cycle.
Yeah, and they're hoping Divinity. Their hope is Divinity will only take about 3 or 4 years. We'll
Yeah.
see, right? But that's their hope. And I think that was also part, I think, of his responses and talk in the interview.
Well, I think there's also the fact that, let's face it, when you're utilizing a property or a previous IP or something like that, there's a big question of like other relations, other IP holders coming in and dictating how the direction is going to go. I don't know how much of that was on the case for Baldur's Gate 3. Like, how many times did they have Hasbro executives in the house telling them, do this and not that?
I mean, they definitely had to go through their paces. I mean,
Yeah.
their early access was not a pretty thing in the beginning. They
Well,
definitely.
let's face it, they did take a long time, as I stated. I
Mhm.
thought it already released. So,
So
but I think it also is a thing of like a lot of people do know them for Baldur's Gate 3 and not any of the Divinity titles.
yeah, I mean, yeah. If they for anyone who didn't know them before, Baldur's Gate 3 really. I mean, I guess I'm one of those. I didn't know them so.
Okay,
I didn't know them
here's
as
a good
well.
question. What was their first game?
No idea.
It's real easy.
I mean, Divinity.
You're close.
No, yeah, then like, yeah, no, like
It's Divine Divinity.
now. I would. You could have given me 100 guesses. I would never gotten that. 100 guesses.
Well,
Wouldn't
yeah,
gotten
it's a very silly title when you hear it the first time. But no, that it was their first title. I actually really like it because the demo of it back in the day was like super long. Like honestly, I was actually like 5 hours into the demo and was wondering, when is this going to end?
It was just a really really thick demo. That's good.
Yes,
I mean,
it's like insane. It's like, like how the Rephantasmia Metaphors demo was like the first chapter of the game, and it's like,
yeah.
whoa.
And that is not a short chapter, by the way. That is a good 5
let's face it,
to 7 hours.
damn.
Most JRPGs first chapter, especially modern ones with a lot of cinematics and
Thick.
dialogue and other things, it's not short.
So is there a lot of push? Well, maybe not pushback's the wrong word. Is a lot of people unhappy that they chose not to make a follow up to Baldur's Gate immediately?
I think there is, just simply because it's like, well, when is the next Baldur's Gate game or the next time we see some of the Baldur's Gate characters?
Because for one thing, I would assume we aren't going to see any of the Baldur's Gate characters. I feel like that's not how those games work.
I don't know. Well, first of all, the first 2 Baldur's Gate games, technically speaking, did have shared characters across them. Now, it's a question of whether they were still playable characters in both games.
I feel like there were references to old characters, but they like maybe like 1 or 2. Not by first hand. I know. I think
technically you could import your character from the first game to the second game, and technically certain relationships and like characters did pass over. I'm pretty.
I mean, in 3, I think there were references.
I think it was an entirely new cast. Yes.
Well, and I think there's references to characters from the old game. Maybe even one like character you meet up in along the way is from one of the old games, but like one character, not even one of the like super central characters. That's what I'm trying to get at. So like, that's I think the most you can expect out of 4. Well, so for me that means is that if you're going to go into 4 expecting to see your old friends again, that's going to be a quick cameo. That's not going to be about them. You're going to go. You can't expect that being about them. It's going to be about somebody else with maybe a pinch of something before. Like, don't go into Baldur's Gate 4 thinking it's Baldur's Gate Part 2. You can't do that. Don't do it.
You mean Baldur's Gate 3 Part 2?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
That's why I sort of suggested that the name is not Baldur's Gate 4. It's Baldur's Gate 3, 4 more years.
Yeah. So, if anything, like, this new Divinity game should be, like, it should be ideally like Larry and Stu going, hey, this is what we can do when the gloves are off, when we have full creative freedom, right? Ideally.
I would think you would have to go to like the previous games that they had released just before Baldur's Gate 3, which would technically be Dark
Divinity 2?
Divinity Divine Sin 2, I think.
Okay.
And while I never played those, I've heard decent things about them. Like,
yeah, especially the second one. The second one, I think, is in many ways the reason why they got the contract to do Baldur's Gate 3.
Mm-hmm. So imagine being able to have that creative ability, but now with the money. Again, that's the ideal, right? The ideal. Yeah.
Okay.
This is basically their Cyberpunk 2077 a chance. Either they're going to knock it out of the park, or they're going to be Cyberpunk 2077. So, this is their chance.
Why is that the suggestion of okay, the same thing as Project Red coming off of the heels of The Witcher 3?
Yeah. Okay. In a lot of different ways, and this even goes back to the previous conversation about their AI stuff. Again, they just got off of Baldur's Gate 3. They have this huge, massive project that people are going to have high expectations for. I would say for worse now, the Larian CEO guy, he has not been quiet. He has a mouth on him. He's been playing up his studios how good they are, and pointing at other studios for their shortcomings. And now here they are with this controversy, and he's maybe not handling it the best way he could. And
I think that the problem is how much of it is going to pay out, because obviously you ended up having Black Ops and its AI controversies.
Yeah.
You ended up having I'm trying to think. I know that there was another AAA game that recently came out that had other AI issues.
Arc Raiders had the AI thing.
Well, yeah, but that's because it's different. It's being implemented differently.
Right, but
with the AI voices and that sort of stuff.
But any AI is going to have people coming for you because people are concerned about it, and it takes whether you're using it right or wrong, it's going to take a certain finesse to explain it well if you're doing it right, or if you're doing it wrong. Well, I guess you better have a good PR team to cover your ass.
Well, that's half the problem. It's the amount of criticism that was levied by the Associated Press towards Black Ops 7 was very light in comparison to, say, Arc Raiders.
Right. So, and they have the money to do it, for better or for worse. So, Larian, probably because they're new to being the big dogs now, probably don't have a lot of experience people gunning for him. And and again, this is probably a situation where, if you ask me, it sounds like so far they are not, too bad. It sounds like
it's a question of whether they can prove it or not, and it's not going to be an easy one, because it's let's face it, even designing one of their style of RPGs, even if they had full creative control, they could iterate on it fast enough and such, is still going to take 3 years. Yeah. The earliest we're going to see of it is going to be 2029.
Yeah. And then, like I said about Baldur's Gate 3, when early access came for that, it was not great at that point. So and even though some of us will understand that's what early access is going to take time, blah blah blah. If they expect the same sort of muted reaction when Divinity comes out early access, they got another thing coming. It's going to be met with huge criticism.
What level of early access? Because there's always variations. Let's face it, I'm pretty sure if we actually had played Satisfactory the month it came out on the Epic Store, it probably would be more buggy. It would probably not have as much content, and it would probably not feel finished.
Right, but our expectations for them is also limited. And again, they're not a big dog. Larian is a huge studio.
Out here that there is variations of early access. There are some early access titles that feel very finished, are very cohesive. You could still see the design of what game they wanted to make, even at that point.
I think so. If it's me, I would give any early access game, as long as it says early access, I would give it almost any kind of grace, because early access, anyone's going to buy an early access game, you kind of have to know what you're getting yourself into. So I would give.
this
See,
gets into the entire idea of whether you should purchase early access.
Right.
One of the things I've always felt is you have to look at what you're purchasing at that point, at that time, as the finished product.
Mhm.
Not in terms of like what they could make with it, but what you have to be satisfied with it to
Right.
make that purchase.
I 100% agree. But Larian being the suitor they are, with the reputation they have now, and with the thing that just happened now, I would almost guarantee you that once the early access comes out and it looks like shit, it's going to be, oh, you see, they're falling down. See, this is their AI slop is what caused this. Even if it never had nothing to do with it, it's going to get blamed on
Even
that.
if none any of the images, none of the
Yeah.
characters, none of the animations, none of the
Right.
voices, none of the audio are AI.
Yeah, and then all the media is going to circle around that, because I mean that is going to draw eyes like that kind of controversy. So this is all stuff they're going to have to be ready for, and the CEO kind of proved that maybe they're not ready for it, and then they got 2-3 years to get ready for it, and they better start getting ready for it and take it seriously, and not think that just because they made a kick-ass game and talked a few good things earlier that it's going to save them when the time comes. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let's just move on to the next point.
All right, yeah.
Now, this is just my controversy. This is my controversy. Okay?
All right. Okay.
This is mine.
All right.
It's
Monster Hunter Rise being in the RPG category and not the action game category.
Wait, what? Wait, say it again?
Monster Hunter Rise being in the RPG category and not the best action game.
Not Rise. Wilds.
It was an RPG and not action game?
Find when Rise got released, it was put in an RPG as well.
Rise and Worlds also.
Is it not an RPG game?
No, it was put in the RPG. It was put in the RPG.
It is technically an RPG because there are stats, there are things like that, but it's an action game when you get down to it.
You know me, I am a layman when it comes to the series, so I'm taking your all's word for it.
Heck, there's been interviews with the creator of Monster Hunter that said he wanted to create a game that had some aspects of RPGs, but he wanted it to be skill-based. Quite literally, he wanted a game.
That makes sense to me.
And that's what he made, was Monster Hunter. Yes, you have aspects of an RPG in there, but everything's technically you on the player to do it. You have to memorize attack patterns and
dodges and things like that. And technically speaking, you could be wearing no armor and still win the fights.
Yeah.
Are they upset that they're categorized as the RPG?
I'm upset. Okay, that's why I prefaced it with my controversy.
I was just curious. I figured, but I'm just curious if there's any statement from them.
Seeing it there, it's like, why is it in the wrong category? Come on, people.
And even in that case,
prize.
And even in that case, if they agree with it in that category, then like, what? I guess how else would you process it?
As I said, it's an action game. It's an action game.
Regardless of what the
action game category.
Regardless of what the developers themselves say.
I don't know who's deciding who on this.
Yeah,
it's the press, the developers, the people who vote for this thing who never played a Monster Hunter game, which is very weird for a world because technically that's super popular.
Mm-hmm.
And who won Best RPG?
Oh, Claire probably.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, no surprise there.
But no, that's just my personal
I mean,
frustration.
I see it.
Keep on showing up here.
I see what you mean. Like from what little I know about the game, my own experience. Yeah, what you're saying makes a lot of sense.
It's like seeing the base racing game somehow being in the best adventure game because it actually has like a player mode.
Is Diddy Kong Racing considered an adventure game?
I don't know.
Am I the only one who's played that game?
I think I've played it, but not much.
I think we rented it for like 2 weekends.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
God, why don't we have more Diddy Kong Racing?
Because
come on, Nintendo.
Okay.
And Kirby Outriders.
I haven't played that one.
Yeah.
I've heard it's actually really good.
Yeah.
Same. I just haven't played it.
Okay.
Okay, but yeah, I get it. MPX, I totally feel you on that one.
Yeah, but that's just my personal beef. It's like, why does this keep on happening? Anyway, another thing, Tomb Raider returns to form with its reimagined of the first game.
Okay, yeah, I thought this was a win.
Well, it is a win in some ways, but some people were criticizing it because it wasn't taking the lead of the other Tomb Raider reimagining that we had for the past 10 years.
Yeah,
Where it was more realistic.
yeah.
Well, it was like reimagining it for a modern audience.
I mean,
You know,
look at the
so
screen right
sensitive.
now. It's like complaining that we have a Lego Batman. I'm sorry. It's just we can have more than one kind of Tomb Raider. We can have more. We can have more than one kind of Batman. We can have more than one kind of Tomb Raider. That's just as simple as that.
Yeah, but
I mean,
people are complaining about not getting more of the Tomb Raider they wanted.
I mean, we've had that kind of Tomb Raider for the last 10 years, like you said. I think we can deviate a little bit. It's fine. It's fine.
Admittedly, this is at this point, it's just a trailer. It's hard to say what it is, and we're just simply going off of the visual style, which is trying to essentially reimagine the original design.
I was gonna say, isn't it like a reimagining of the original anyway?
Yes, it is a reimagining of the original. I'm pretty sure on that.
Okay,
So we're going to see Lara Croft fighting dinosaurs.
So, I would, if I was someone who was a big fan of the original, like I would be a little, I guess upset's too strong of a word, but I would want it to lean towards the original experience as much as possible.
Well, yeah, but that's if you're a fan of the originals. What happens if you played from the beginning of like the one that was released in like 2013, 2012?
Well, then that game is not for you. Then I guess this game is not for you.
Well,
just like again, like the Lego Batman game is not necessarily for the Arkham Asylum people, and vice versa. Like two different audiences.
Even if they play the same, I'm just going to ask that.
Even if they play,
is obviously Lego mechanic.
Even if they have the same mechanic, it's a different tone. Like yeah. Yeah, you can play the exact same mechanics and have a different tone and be for two different people. Yeah, that's just how that works.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, good.
I don't know. That's how I see it. As simply as that. Like, if people are complaining about that much, for me, it's really easy to dismiss.
Okay. All right. Then the final one, because this was the final thing of the Game Awards, and it was sort of a disappointment for most people. The reveal of Highborn.
Okay, you can tell me about this because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Highborn was the final reveal of the Game Awards.
Should I look this up? Should I just look up this trailer and just
yes?
Okay.
Just look up Highborn's trailer. Okay. And it is high as in the direction, and born as in the birth.
Highborn trailer. The Game Awards.
It's another hero shooter.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, are you sure it's not High Guard?
Oh, High Guard.
Okay. She was like,
this demonstrates half of the problem.
Okay.
Because I completely spaced on what it was called.
All right, I do have
so generic in some ways.
I do have some thoughts, but I guess we'll watch the trailer a little bit.
Uncharted.
Okay, let's watch the trailer so everybody's on the same thing.
I venture without fear. And ride without rest. For coin or for cause. I fight to the end.
Okay, good pedigree.
Here we go. Bringing the heat.
Your light belongs to me.
Moving in for the attack.
Shield breaker forming.
Incoming it.
That's cool. I don't remember seeing that before. In the clips I've seen before.
I'm coming for you.
Marking baddies from above.
Okay, so we all have eagles. We got ice walls, yetis, mystical battering rams, machine guns held wielded by knights.
I am the coming storm.
FPX, can I say what the controversy is in a funny manner once we get to it?
I am a
15
warrior,
seconds left.
and this is my oath.
So, the controversy of this one is... Where's Titanfall 3?
I mean-
Uninstalling!
That is definitely part of it, I'm sure.
Well, I think that is one thing because on one hand, these are ex-devs of
It's the
actually,
same
no,
studio
but
that did
it's the same
Titanfall.
studio, so
Yeah.
it is technically speaking taking away resources from the proposed development of Titanfall 3. Especially since we got earlier this year that they canceled Titanfall 3, essentially.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. The publisher that wants games as a service constantly, of course they canceled Titanfall 3 and made another games as a service game. Of course they did. No surprise.
Yeah. But I do think that it lacks a bit of punch, honestly, from just simply watching the gameplay and some of the character designs and some of the animations. Because I did see one animation error.
A
that
little
is
bit.
probably going to be hand waved away with like, oh, but they're magic guns. They don't need to operate like real guns.
I mean, this stuff they can tweak. Look, I'm going to preface everything I'm going to say with I will never play this game. Nothing about this game will ever make me play it. Nothing. nothing will ever make me play this game. Nothing. I'm telling you that right now. Nothing.
I was sitting there watching the entire thing going like, this feels...
So what you're
awful
saying
every minute
is
of this.
that you think that even if you thought anything in that trailer was cool, it did not pull you enough to care about it. To
Oh,
play it.
half of it is that I just do not have any room in my life for another game that does not have an ending. I just do not have it. I do not. I have 2 games in my life that already make me do that, and I do not have time for those 2 games. On top of it, wanting to play other games that do have limits. So number 1.
Yeah.
Number 1. Number 2. Yeah, it looks fine. That's it. It looks fine. It looks fine. It looks fine. And honestly, every other hero shooter that's ever existed has always looked fine until I played it. Every one of
then
them.
it just-
Name a hero
Okay,
shooter that's ever existed.
Wait. Let's just
Yeah.
come back to that statement.
Okay, yeah.
Until you played it,
Yeah. Name a hero shooter that you went, man, that is the one, hands down, fucking looks like I gotta play it. Not one have I ever saw that.
Somebody who tries to coerce him to play a game. So yes.
Yeah. Like even Overwatch, the quintessential one, I was like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Oh, my friends are playing it.
One technically is Team Fortress 2.
Sure. Yeah, and even that.
Class-based shooter versus hero based.
Yeah, and even that, I was like, that looks fine. If someone, your friends are playing it, I guess I'll play it. That's all I've always felt about it. My point about that is that, I mean, part of it is that we're jaded when it comes to these kind of games already, number 1. And number 2 is that I don't know why people expect something immediate when they see these trailers. They should, the least they should do is, that looks interesting. I might try it. That's what they should accomplish. Other than that, I don't know why someone should expect I should immediately love these characters. They should immediately give me something. Like, I don't think that's what they're meant to do. They cannot do that. You cannot have the same attachment to these characters as you do with like Soldier 76 from Overwatch or the Spy from Team Fortress.
Well, first of all, how much did Blizzard actually try to make people fall in love with Overwatch even before they saw gameplay of Overwatch? With like the cinematic trailer uh, teasing the reveal of Overwatch.
Honestly, don't remember. Honestly, don't remember.
Because that's the one where they had Doomfist's like fist in a museum, and then they had like uh, I'm trying to remember their stupid names. I mean, you
Doctor
had
Gorilla.
Tracer, Soldier 76, and the Gorilla. Winston.
Yeah.
Winston.
Yeah, Winston.
Winston.
hmm
I'm just trying to make sure.
Yeah.
Winston defending it from like I'm trying to remember the blue French spider themed lady sniper.
Widowmaker.
Widowmaker, and the Shadow Lord guy
Reaper.
with the shotguns. Reaper.
I did play Overwatch for years, so I'll preface this with
well,
that.
I never got around to playing Overwatch back when I still liked Blizzard as a company.
Yeah, and you develop affection for those characters over time, too. Like, and a lot of them get their own trailers. Blah, blah, that too, that happens.
A lot went into making that thing, and because in some ways they copied the same elements that they TF2 gang were doing back in the day, trying to get people to associate with like what the character of the heavy and the scout and the medic. Like people were waiting months and years for the next trailer for the next guy. Like it took a long while till they got through the entire like 9 people cast.
Yeah. That Overwatch is definitely. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, you say your thing.
Yeah, there were so many fan theories about the pyro that when it finally came out and it surprised everyone, what the pyro's personality was, that quite literally it made me download the game just so I could get the item, and then I uninstalled the game.
There is something to be said that games, those early games, those early hero shooters, were definitely a unique position where there wasn't so many that there was still like a mistake to all of them, right? Definitely one thing that developers should know these days is that there's no such thing as Mystique anymore. Don't pretend that somehow you're going to create instant Mystique. If there was any ever, you're not going to build it. So be honest about it.
I think that's half of the problem with High Guard as it's presented, is that
right 100.
None of the characters seemed particularly interesting or
definitely presenting it as like the capstone of your Game Awards show, like everyone should be impressed by it, is definitely a mistake. That is 100% a mistake.
Was the problem that a lot of people pointed out. It's they probably paid premium price, especially after years of radio silence of never talking about this.
Right. Big mistake. Because again, I don't know why they still expect some sort of like instant mistake about it. We, as a consumer, shouldn't expect to be mystified by it, and the developers shouldn't expect to develop instant Mystique with it. Like, we should just both have that understanding at this point, really. And even all of this does not mean that I think the game is going to be a success, because the mechanics still important. Whether over time they can create some sort of connection with people is still important. I just don't think an immediate thing is not possible.
The other thing is that their trailer technically showed off the entire like match concept,
which I think looks interesting. It looks cool.
Not really to me. It feels like it's a laundry list of like checklists.
Is it any worse than another hero shooter?
Well, okay. Let me put it this way. A couple years ago, actually only like 2 years ago, I finally saw somebody playing through like the finals, which is a technically some sort of like battle royale-ish style game with a lot of concentration on destruction of the environment. Like complete chaos destruction. Like you have like full high-rise buildings that you can burn to the ground.
Some of the promises made by Red Faction are early on, and they like kind of made it.
You would have to check out videos about it to really get an idea of what
I feel like I've heard some things, but it definitely sounds cool the way you're describing it.
It is cool on levels. Like, it does seem interesting. It does seem fun. Of course, everything's funner with friends, theoretically. But the thing is that at least delivered on its unique promise of like having expanding like it in a unique way. Like, it's not just going to be another copy of Fortnite. It's actually doesn't have any building components outside of like sort of like a gray goo thing from Prey. Like, technically you could do that, except the problem is that it's highly flammable. So as soon as somebody like puts an explosive on it, the entire thing blows up.
Yeah, nice.
So it is risk versus reward, essentially. Uh, but this one, when I look at like its destructible environment, it's clearly sectioned off. Like, this is a wall here that is meant to be destroyed or stay, or you could that, but the structure around it, the frame, is going to stay there the entire time. Whereas in the finals, technically, even that can be destroyed with enough damage, and will actually do physics events of like properly falling over and destroying more things or creating rubble and such. So in my mind, it's sort of like it doesn't seem as interesting and like enticing with the idea of like, if you could play this game, would it be something that you haven't played before at the very least? And another point somebody brought out is that I disagree on one level, but I can understand why they were pointing this out. Is like they dislike the entire like fantasy science fusion thing that sort of ultimately doesn't result in it doesn't come together in an interesting like art style. Like, it's not actually seeing a 15th century knight wielding an AK, which would be different from, oh, it's a sci-fi fantasy gun wielded by a sci-fi fantasy knight with a modern day haircut.
I mean, I feel like it just comes down to preference at that point. Like,
It
It's-
does, but it's also a matter of delivering. Like, let's face it, let's take the Divinity trailer. Like, we've seen horror composite things before, like Bloodborne, and I don't know whether anything gets really creepy from like Baldur's Gate 3. Like, technically the entire transforming into an Ithilid thing was sort of like freaky, the first trailer, but it's sort of like a definitive like tone setter in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, half the problem is like a lot of the like character design and such is also a matter of like, some things become iconic because you've seen them so many times and it's like it has been reinforced over time. And some things just naturally happen to be designed in a way to be more appealing at an outset. Like, uh, uh, I'm just trying to think of the right way to describe this. Like, if we take Overwatch characters, like the initial ones we saw, Tracer, Soldier 70, let's take Soldier 76, because Soldier 76 is an interesting case study of like, this is supposed to be generic shooter man,
Mm-hmm.
literally numbered 76. Like, what makes him appealing for people as a just simply from a visual standpoint, compared to like, say, the forerunner of High Guard, or the supposed like generic soldier guy from Concord or other hero shooters. Like, well, let's face it, like, if you go to looking at Marvel Rivals, who's the generic shooter guy in that game? It's not Punisher necessarily.
I mean, wouldn't that be Captain America?
You could be Captain America.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the dynamics of that game work.
That it's like, technically, shooter guy actually is much more unique in the Marvel universe because
Yeah.
not too many people use guns.
Yeah.
Star-Lord.
Star-Lord's
Oh,
in the
there's
game,
Star Lord. You're right. There's Star Lord
and
there.
technically
It's like-
Bucky.
Bucky is Bucky in
Yeah.
Rivals?
I think he is.
Okay.
Yes. I forget what he's listed as. Probably like
Oh, it's the Warframe.
Yeah.
I mean, let's take it. Warframe has some pretty distinct visual characterization in this that makes it very different from anything else on the market.
It has a style to it that you can recognize.
Right.
Well, it's a thing of like, okay, taking my initial thing of like putting fantasy and science fiction together. You could say there are certain elements that would be considered generic, such as like the seamless suits, the fact that it doesn't happen to have the sort of like major carapace seams. But it's also like they still have a lot of distinction of like how they construct these things in a way that they don't look like something you would see naturally as a designer from putting like say just if you slap together a Western Knight and like sci-fi elements. I don't know. Am I just talking to myself?
I don't know how to follow you with that one. I
Well, it's ultimately comes down to sort of like the art direction in question, because I don't think necessarily you can't put these two things together, but there are certain things of like it can become generic because of how much it's like utilized and certain cliches of the art style is used, simply because if you naturally fuse these things over and over and over again, you end up getting certain things that are very similar. Like if I end up going back to Two Human, which was technically a sci-fi Norse game,
mhm.
so combining science fiction and Norse mythology with that sort of two aesthetics, how much of it would not feel even dissimilar to anything made out of Highgard? If I put those two characters beside each other, would you say they would come from the same game?
No.
You're only saying that because you don't know what Two Human looks like.
I thought I did.
I mean, do you remember what Two Human was?
You know, I think I'm remembering the different game. It's not that you.
Okay,
It's not
Two
the game.
Human was the game that destroyed Silicon Knights. Because not only did it take 10 years for it to come out, they also got sued for it.
Okay, let me look it up. Now I'm thinking. I feel like I'm remembering a different game.
It's the one where they
Boy.
got sued by Epic. Because technically speaking, they, on their copies...
Okay, no, I am thinking of a different game, but also.
Yeah.
Okay, I guess when you. Okay, I don't remember anything about this game, but I don't know. I guess I kind of see your point. Looking at
I'm saying, like,
looking at the cover,
it's
this
not that you
guy.
can't combine these elements together. It's the fact that you really have to think about...
I don't know. I mean, I guess I see your point, but I also kind of don't like. Well, I couldn't. Well, I wouldn't say that the style they chose is like so striking. And maybe even that's the point. But also, I don't know. Like, I feel like we're also again. Also feel like we're jaded at this point, right? Like,
Well, it's always a matter of jadedness, especially once you've become too learned. There's a reason why so much of like the entire, pop culture thing focuses on the prime demo, if you will. And once you get out of the prime demo, they don't want to deal with you anymore because either you're too jaded, you're too much involved in certain like styles or choices, or you've been too used to things of the same things happening over and over and over again.
I've never heard it put
Or-
that way, but man, now that almost makes sense to me.
Yeah. And then it's also the fact that like you just simply decide like, have you ever heard this? That your musical tastes will freeze by the time you're 30.
I've heard that before.
Like past that point, you really don't like new music because it's like, yeah, you've heard this before. It's from a different artist.
I feel like
And
I
it's like,
can't
yeah,
relate
but I
to
liked
that,
it
but
better when it was
I
when
feel like
I
I can't
was
relate to that, but I've heard it before.
yeah. It's not
Look,
that you can't find. It's admittedly not entirely true because I think people can find new musicians and new music that they could possibly get into, but it's always a question of like how much does it perhaps tickle the nostalgia bone?
man, you mean it's nostalgia's another thing too. Man, I think nostalgia's freaking overrated, but that's another conversation for another day.
Well, it's a question of how you view nostalgia. Is it more about you wanting nostalgia in your products, or it's how much of the people making the games taking advantage of nostalgia to sell you the thing?
Yeah, definitely that second one for sure. A lot of that. Like, and in as much as I sound like I'm defending the game, like if people don't like the game,
I
don't buy
mean,
the game.
sometimes it is a point of view to make sure that the argument is at least observed. Like, if I'm coming at them and saying like they, because they were sort of expecting a bit more praise for releasing
Right. And that's
side art.
that's definitely part of their issue is that, like I said in the beginning, like they should not be expecting the same mistake. They should just not.
Well, let's face it. We had this conversation, I think, last year with the entire thing of like, is Concord the signal that hero shooters are dead? And then what happened 3 months later? Marvel Rivals kicks off.
Right. There you go. It's not the
It is a
genre.
bit,
It's what you do with it. But I mean,
yeah.
that can be said about anything really. But
Well, yeah, that is sort of essentially the difference between making a game and making a good game.
and again, I say this again, not saying that like this game deserves anything, but like I also feel there's a little bit of like people wanting to hate on the genre as a whole because it's easy to do, and maybe even deserve. I mean, maybe even fucking deserves it because man, games as a service can be problematic sometimes too. But like, but in that sense, man, they're an easy target. High Guard is an easy fucking target as far as like I can fucking hate on this game. It's easy fucking target. Just like other like games as a
Also,
service games,
do you want to
gacha
know
games.
what animation error that I think I found in the trailer itself?
What?
When the guy was reloading his revolver, his ejector rod stayed up the entire time.
Wait, I think we can almost find that. That was like in the last third of the trailer here.
Yes.
So we can find it. It should be here soon. Soonish.
Yeah, it's as soon as like you get the barbarian guy using his ult.
Oh, here, that's the guy. Is that the guy that
Yes.
uses it? No.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. You're right.
Here it comes up.
He's the alt. Yeah, here we go.
And he loads it up through the ejector rod.
It's not supposed to happen.
I don't even understand, I guess.
Okay, so
Okay.
that rod that's coming up through the middle of the cylinder, aka that part, the star-shaped thing,
Uh-huh.
that is the ejector rod.
Mm-hmm.
That thing is used to pop the empty shells out of the cylinder.
Revolver
Uh,
cylinders. Yeah.
the part where the bullet is housed.
Okay, so that shouldn't be sticking out.
Well,
It
it
pops
needs
out
to
and
stick
then
out
comes back.
to push out all the bullets. Technically speaking, it would if he would have had to reload it, it would have to have the bullets slightly upper, being caught by the ejector rod, still in like the thing instead of directly underneath it. Because if it's underneath the bullets, it can't eject them because it's not pushing up anymore against the lip of the casing.
Are we sure that's an ejector rod? I mean,
Yes,
I mean, I'm asking only because I have no idea.
Let me go get a.
Well, I'm calling it an ejector rod. I mean, half of the problem with I think technically it might not be called an ejector rod because an ejector rod might only be referring to a singular bullet, like if you had it on the side of the gun, the revolver in this case.
Okay, that's a different
Because-
name that I was not expecting.
Because
Okay.
looking at the animation, it also feels very intentional. So it's less animation error, more like a design error.
Actually,
like
this is a
they just
very
designed
nice
this
freeze frame
bad.
for one reason.
What?
I can't tell whether they animated the empty casings versus the full casings. But if they did animate that it at least has some attention to detail if they actually animated the difference between spent casings versus still full bullets, essentially.
Let's see. This should be
Okay.
empty cases,
I've
as
got
far as
two
I know.
images for you.
Not
Because he's
necessarily.
about
They
to-
didn't shoot all the bullets.
Oh, good point. Good point. Good point. Well, okay, we can tell.
Extractor
Okay.
star.
All right, wait. Oh, wait. He does he reload first? Okay, no, we don't know if he reloads. Oh yeah, we don't know.
We don't know how much he has on hand, so it's a
Right,
bit of
right.
a question.
Good point. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know what that function does, but I mean, it seems like it's intentionally there, so it feels like it's a design
Well,
error.
it is supposed to be
more than
there.
anything.
It is there to eject the spent casings. Like if I was
posted 2 pictures in podcast so that you can
Yeah.
take a look at what it's supposed to look like.
well, how it's supposed to work mechanically. Like it is supposed to recess into the revolver
Oh, I see.
area with the casing resting up on top. So when it pops out like that to eject and like as here explosively almost to pop them out, it is meant to pop out like that. Like if this was
I mean-
a properly built revolver, it probably would snap like that and then snap back down.
Yeah.
I suppose.
Like it would probably be spring loaded in a sense. So it's still sticking up past that point is a bit weird because, like, do you know how to move things frame by frame?
In here? No.
Yeah. The carrot keys, I believe. Or not carrot keys. Yeah. Yeah, could you just simply move it until he finishes well, not finishes loading it, but because obviously it stays up the entire time, but it's also the fact that it's like he's passing through it. Actually, what's annoying is
The
how
bullets are
much it's
popping into his head.
magnetized to it. Which isn't a big problem, I would say. I mean, this is supposed to be a hero shooter. They are supposed to be like superhuman, so being able to reload a gun really fast isn't a problem. It's the
Oh,
problem
I
with the
saw
gun.
another thing. The bullets still had the bullets.
Well, yeah, that's what I
Well,
was
as we were talking
mentioning,
about
but
before, because we were saying there's
the
unspent.
idea was is that if they didn't spend firing the entire thing, it actually is a good detail. It's hard to say
Yeah.
which way it is. Because this is what we started off with, is like him reloading the gun. We don't know what was the condition of how many shots fired beforehand. This is not a Harry Calhoun situation. But yeah,
Like we're CSIing this.
like the idea is by this point, the extractor star should be coming back down onto the chamber. I mean, I don't mind him reloading 2 bullets at a time and then being practically magnetized to it. Because, as I said before, it's a hero shooter. It's supposed to be slightly more, like, embellished.
I mean, that's the full thing right there.
Yeah. But, admittedly, I can understand this animation error being in game at this point because it's a low priority problem compared to, like,
It is just a trailer.
hitboxes, gameplay. I mean, yeah, it's just a trailer, but let's face it, this is supposed to be their first showing, and when you have an error like this, people will rag on it.
Right, rightfully so, but it's also just a trailer. Like the
Yeah.
you can hold both
That's why
both
they were
ideas in
trying
your
to be
mind.
agreeable back there is just simply to state that in terms of priorities of importance, it's a relatively easy fix. It's just an animation error. It just needs to do one extra step and it'll be fine.
Like the way I would say is that if there's anyone who's going to take this game seriously, I don't think that should be a deal breaker. If you weren't going to take this game seriously, like you should, it also shouldn't be taking that tidbit seriously. Like to me, that means nothing to me because I'm also not taking the game seriously. I don't care about this
Well,
game.
that's why
So
I
that
was
means
sort
nothing
of
to me.
joking at the. That's why I was joking earlier with the idea being like, oh, I can't wait to be for the defense of why this gun does this is because it's magic. Doesn't need to follow gun rules.
But you know what? At the same time, I mean, you hear me here. I'm defending it again, but like, it's also just animation, kind of. Like, have you seen
Well, that's why
Zenless Zone Zero's animation like slow down? How weird it looks when you slow it down.
the reason why that animation looks weird when it's slowed down is you're not supposed to slow it down. It's supposed to look like that because it's using actual animation rules to make it look better, like the
So then,
tweens and like other such things, squash and stretch and all those things.
and this is not. I mean, besides the
No.
gun part thing.
Arguably,
Besides the gun
using
part thing.
using those animation rules that you would have in Zenless Zone Zero, obviously they're used to an almost cartoonish level to like create like characters bulging their eyes or muscles overextending and like breaking the model in that case. In some cases, especially if they're like doing the major animations and stuff, but that's to embellish action. In this case, because it's trying to do this sort of demi-realistic thing, it sort of has that problem of trying to do a realistic animation without really thinking about like squashing and stretching or like changing up. It doesn't need to be as extreme, but I would think that certain animation, the same rules of animation that would you apply to, say, Bugs Bunny or Zenless Zone Zero or Mickey Mouse, you could still apply to this and probably get a better effect as long as you're a bit more subtle about it.
Is not subtle if I mean what's the word I'm trying to ask
the
here?
main criticism as I leveled was the fact that the gun was not acting like a real gun would. And it seems a bit
Right.
odd and obvious when you think about it.
Okay,
Like,
and that's fair.
I've seen
As far as I know,
this
that's fair.
happen a couple times where some guns end up having moving parts where they're not supposed to be moving. Or the obvious thing is like the one you have all the time in movies is like they shoot like 8 shots out of a 6-shot revolver or something like that.
Or like people cocking shotguns.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Oh, Enfield.
Yeah, I keep hearing about this. I don't know what it is though.
It's another gotcha game of another gotcha game.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, that's all I need to know to not want to care about it anymore.
You don't need another investment, as you just said.
No. You know, the one they showed before, I actually played for like 2 hours and then gave up because, yeah.
I think also half of the problem with High Guard is that the gameplay itself doesn't seem particularly interesting. Like, it didn't particularly do anything different from, say, Apex, or that it's not really taking advantage of its situation. It's like, I personally would like another like Tribes game, honestly, because the movement in those games is actually unique in terms of like how it would flow in multiplayer combat. But I think the last Tribes game was like 10 years ago now.
No, I think that there was a Tribes game 2019.
Maybe, I don't know. That's half the problem.
I don't recall.
Would help if I actually spell things correctly. Okay, that's not the Tribes I was looking for.
Okay.
I think
Since
Oh, wait, what?
last year.
When was it?
It says last year,
2024.
but that's incorrect because Tribes. Wait, did Tribes 3 actually released last year?
Yeah.
Oh, it says early access, so technically it hasn't.
It hasn't even received. What?
But,
Well, there you go.
Okay. What?
Okay, I have what. Okay, since we're already this far, I have one more controversy I want to introduce before we're done.
Okay.
Because the one that I heard,
okay.
independent of everything that we brought over, was the one involving the player's voice award.
Oh, right, that one. Let me just bring it up just so I can refresh myself.
I think I almost memorized. No, I don't. It was I remember 4 of the 5. It was
yes, most anticipated game.
Oh no, not most anticipated. It was player's voice.
I know,
It's
I know.
totally different
but the
oh,
fact that, like,
okay.
Okay, I brought it up. It's one
'Cause
of the
it
few
was-
times that Expedition 33 did not win.
Yeah, it was Claire. It was Silk Song. It was Wuthering Waves. It was Genshin Impact. And what was the 5th one that I can't remember?
Dispatch.
Dispatch. Okay, that's what
Honestly,
it
I'm
was.
actually
Okay.
surprised it didn't win.
Didn't win that category?
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, the winner of that one was Wuthering Waves. And the controversy there, or at least what was being shouted out, was that, well, Wuthering Waves won because the players in that game wanted the reward for winning that they were going to get from the developers.
The mobile player slavery contract to continue giving positive reviews.
Yeah. So that's why they won.
Okay. Well, that almost begs the question of, is that the same reason why Genshin Impact was in this list as well?
Yeah. Which, the only reason I bring it up, because I feel like there's people complaining all the time, quote unquote people, which just means loud voices on the internet, about the Game Awards, like whether they're, I don't know, they're corrupt in some way or they're manipulated in some way.
Outside of, the same thing as like internet points when you get down to it.
Yeah, or it's like there should be more player decision, and it's like, well, here's what happens when the players decide something. Like, and I say that going like, hey, Wuthering Waves won, Wuthering Waves won. Cool. That's what the internet decided. That's what the category is for. But what I'm saying is that regardless, despite the criticism with not having player voices being involved with the rest of the categories, the one player choice category was still met with criticism. So I was like, well, there you go, internet. You got what you wanted, and you're still weren't happy. So I don't know what to tell you.
Well, it's also a question of like the nomination process when you get down to it. Because if it was just simply between these 5, I can see why it's ended up becoming like, Wuthering Waves versus like
If I,
a larger.
my understanding was that it was sorry to interrupt, but just my understanding was that it was done tournament style to get to the final 5. I might be wrong about that, but I remember reading that that's how it was decided.
Like it wasn't a pure democratic sort of thing of like, please enter what you think was the best game this year. Fan vote.
Well, I think votes. It was the nominations were decided on votes from people, and then people voted on the final 5. So votes counted towards the nominations, and votes counted towards the final votes. If I remember correctly.
But admittedly, I also was surprised at this simply because both Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact, because there is a best mobile game category, and I forgot who won it.
I think it was the Uma Musume.
Musume won.
Yeah.
Fonts Girls.
Which I mean that tracks. I wasn't surprised there. That tracks. As far as I'm concerned, that tracks.
Yeah. I think the other reason why I'm confused is because I thought Wuthering Waves wouldn't be qualified to win the Player's Voice Award. Well, I thought this thing is based off of a yearly like inception. Like the reason why uh, Metroid Prime 4 can't be qualified for any of these things is because it was released too late.
It was released after voting had been
Well, not
mostly
just simply
completed.
voting, the supposed like year of which is contestants can properly be inaugurated or like what it's based on, for all I know.
Okay.
Like I felt some games actually got screwed because they only had so many weeks compared to like Expedition 33 being released, earlier this year.
Okay, the player's voice is a 3-round voting thing where 30
Okay.
were nominated first, then 10, then the final 5. That's how the voting works.
Okay. How is it decided? Is it decided internally, or is it just sort of like a constant like? Here's the highest 30 voted in, and then again, just another.
It says 30 eligible games were nominated, and I can't find how the games were nominated.
Well, outside of the obvious, like they obviously should be released this year and things like that.
Except I don't know how Genshin Impact was on there then.
Yeah, that's also a big head scratcher. I mean, when you're a live service game, you can sort of state that every year is a new rendition of your game. So
we had a major patch this year. We should be nominated.
But
yeah,
I don't like that personally, but
well, this is
I don't know.
half of the problems. Like, how much of the categories are actually the categories are actually represented? It's like going back to my personal complaint of like, why is Monster Hunter an RPG versus action game?
And even that goes back to, well, it's up to the award show, I guess. And then that's kind of where that conversation kind of ends.
Yeah.
Sort of defeatist. I say that in a defeatist way because it's just kind of up to the freaking game show.
It really is. I do wish there was like better categorization or something, or at least honestly.
And I say that only because. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, personally, I think one of the biggest failings of the Game Awards and technically even the Steam Awards is that there should be a category for saying like the best technological innovation, like demonstratively pushing the technology forward, not necessarily graphics.
GDC has an award for that.
The which one?
But I guess GDC has an award for that.
Well, the GDC,
but I guess not
for that because it is entirely like the industry internalized.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really caring about like publicity and such. It's more like actual people who know what they're talking about and can make
and I guess
decisions on that.
I wonder if Claire will sweep there too. I guess we'll find out in a few months.
I think that it will still have a good showing, but I don't know whether it be. Again, it's also a matter of like what it's compared to. Like I actually was surprised that Silksong didn't win some of those things simply because Silksong, as I understand, was what everybody was wanting for Silksong to be.
Game lost. Sorry.
I mean, it's just stiff competition. 2 titans.
Yeah.
From the looks of it. Just.
Then again, it always could come down to like what was left in terms of the nominees. Maybe a lot of people wanted to vote something else that didn't get into the nomination process.
Mayhaps.
Because like we just have the at this time, Steam is open up like voting for their game, for their awards, and some of the things I voted for did not show up, unfortunately. But it's like, what actually did or what didn't, and what was voted on, what wasn't voted on, sort of thing. Like for Steam, it's actually rather interesting that for one of the few times where the Game of the Year award actually matches like the Game Awards in terms of like what was in the top. Expedition 33, Dispatch, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and Silksong. Like All of those had showings. And
Is voting up for that right now? Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I did
Okay,
earlier.
I didn't see any of that, so I guess I should go look for that.
But like unfortunately, Aviatic Factor did not make it with Better with Friends.
That's a shame. Aviatic Factor was a really good game. Really, really good game. Was it not nominated for anything?
No, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a shame. Should have been nominated for something. That's too bad. The game is super good. We might be
I feel
biased,
like it's
but it was
just a
super
bit too
good.
niche.
Maybe. Anywho, okay. I think we've done it. We've reached
We've gone through the
high
controversies
guard.
of
the high guard of our podcast. We've silked that song. We've expedited through all the topics.
over almost 3 hours and 30 minutes and 3.
We completed our dispatch.
Yes.
I'm running out of puns here.
Well, we're going to be like
You know,
Megatron,
time
be
to
leaving soon.
stranger.
They weren't nominated. Shut up. Or were they? Were they? Did they get any
No, they
nominations?
We're
Not even the
nominated,
RPG.
but then they left. That's the joke.
Oh.
Oh, the video's done. Okay, we're done here then. All right.
Yes.
Bye, everybody. We're done. Bye. See you next year.